Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. The story that we're doing today is one that's an absolute shocker. It's one that every one of you viewers will connect with. It's the unfortunate apathy that we have just gotten so used to. It's a killer apathy that has claimed the life of a 34-year-old teacher in the national capital. Delhi resident Sakshi Ahuja was electrocuted after she touched an electric pole with open wires. In fact, stepped into a puddle that was somehow connected to the electric pole with open wires at the New Delhi railway station. She was rushed to the hospital but couldn't be saved. Naked wires were seen hanging around the poles at New Delhi railway station. Railway authorities took no adequate precautions to remove these wires hanging around the poles. No safety audit of poles was conducted for the monsoon season. These glaring lapses resulted in Sakshi's death. But will those responsible for her death be booked? Let's first listen in to bereaved family members of Sakshi who've blamed the railways for their daughter's death.
See, nothing can compensate the life we have lost, family we have lost. No one by any means can bring back that. The only thing which we know that birth and death are in the hands of God and no individual should have the right to take that.
जिस देश में रहते हैं उस देश को हम जैसे इंसानों की कोई परवाह नहीं है. फुल्ली करप्टेड कंट्री है ये और आगे भी ये ऐसे ही चलता रहेगा. यहाँ एक साक्षी गई है, मुझे नहीं पता आगे कितनी साक्षियाँ ऐसे जा सकती हैं. बस अपने आप को संभाल के रखिए और इस देश के ऊपर बिल्कुल भी विश्वास मत करिए.
मैं तो अपने घर थी, मेरे पास तो मैसेज उसके ख़त्म होने का आया ना. मुझे क्या पता कैसे दुर्घटना किस टाइम हुई, मुझे कुछ पता नहीं है कि क्या ना इनको देना चाहिए. ये छोटे छोटे बच्चों का क्या होगा? क्या हमारी साक्षी वापस आ जाएगी? हमारी साक्षी आ जाएगी क्या? इन बच्चों का माँ का प्यार मिल सकेगा क्या? उस पति को वाइफ का प्यार मिल सकेगा क्या? पहले ये बताओ.
मैं पार्किंग में गाड़ी लगा रहा था, ये थोड़ी देर में इसी मेरी बेटी का फ़ोन आ गया. पापा आप जल्दी काटो, गाड़ी को वहीं छोड़ दो जहाँ पर भी खड़े हो, बेशक गाड़ी मत पार्क करो. आप साक्षी को कुछ हो गया, साक्षी एकदम गिर गई है नीचे, करंट लगा हुआ था उसको. वहाँ पर हम चंडीगढ़ जा रहे थे. ये लापरवाही है, घोर लापरवाही है रेलवे अथॉरिटीज़ की, वहाँ के काम करने वाली CPWD स्टाफ की, इलेक्ट्रिकल मैन पावर जो इसको देखभाल करने वालों की.
What's also shocking is that the Delhi police filed an FIR in Sakshi's case under sections 304 and 287 of the Indian Penal Code, which are death by negligence. Is this enough? Shouldn't stringent charges such as culpable homicide be applied against those responsible for Sakshi's death? These are questions that must be answered, and we'll continue to ask these questions until justice is delivered. Meanwhile, in a Mega Times Now Impact, while speaking to Times Now, the Northern Railways GM Shobhan Chaudhary has admitted negligence and said that prima facie there was a wire that was taken out to another pole and that there was some damage to the wires. He said that the report will be submitted by the 1st of July and those responsible will be punished.
Yesterday, a very unfortunate incident of a death of a young woman had happened at the railway station. We had, pursuant to this incident, we have registered a FIR under section 287 and 304A. Investigation is still under progress. The scene where the incident happened, that has been inspected already by our FSL and our crime team. In addition to that, we have written to Central Electricity Authority also.
It was a very, very sad case which happened yesterday in which a young lady lost her life. We are really very sorry for that and trying to come out of that situation. Yes, BSES is nowhere responsible. It is Railways asset. Railways is duty bound to maintain it. Prima facie, it appears that a cable was taken from that pole, that particular pole, to another adjoining pole. That cable got damaged or burst, and the cable was taken through the pole. So, and the pole is a metallic pole. So, electricity passed through it, and when that unfortunate lady touched it, she got electrocuted.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
We have a guest joining us for more on the story. Of course, joining us is Prateek Som, national spokesperson of the JJP. We also have with us M.Y. Siddiqui, former chief spokesperson of the Ministry of Railways. Dilip Cherian is founder of Perfect Relations, joining us, and of course a noted citizen's voice in the national capital. Abha Singh is a lawyer and activist joining us. Vikram Singh is a former IPS officer. I would request all of you, including Vaibhav Agarwal, leader of the BJP and president of the Yuva India Foundation, to stay with us. Because first and foremost, I want to go across to the mother of Sakshi Ahuja. Praveen Chopra has displayed tremendous courage and joins us this evening. Let me begin by asking her, आप क्या मानते हैं कि क्या ये एक्सीडेंट है जैसे क्लेम किया गया है या एक हत्या है?
दर्दनाक हत्या है, एक बहुत दर्दनाक हत्या, ऐसी हत्या कि जिसको पैर में रखते ही उसके अंदर का बदन जल गया, मुंह से धुएं निकलने लगे उसके, और वो जल के राख सी अंदर से हो गई। ये ऐसी हत्या है, किसी जिंदे आदमी को जला दिया, ये ऐसी हत्या है, क्या बोलूं मैं।
जी, इस मामले में एक एफआईआर लॉन्च हुई है और रेलवेज ने एक इंक्वायरी भी इनिशिएट की है जिसका डेडलाइन है 1 जुलाई का। आप क्या मानते हैं, क्या आप इस सबसे सेटिस्फाइड है?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, मैं खपा हूं, मैं नाराज हूं, मैं बहुत नाराज हूं सबसे। अभी तक कोई एक्शन नहीं किसी का। सबसे पहले ऊपर वाले को सस्पेंड करो और नीचे वाले दोनों को, जो ग्राउंड लेवल पे काम करता है, ऊपर वाले की इंस्ट्रक्शंस टाइट हो तो नीचे वाला कभी भी ऐसी गलती नहीं कर सकता। जब एक डेथ पहले हुई है कुछ टाइम पहले यहाँ पे और कईयों ने कंप्लेंट करी है, उसके बावजूद इन्होंने मौत का समंदर छेड़ा हुआ था, मौत का समंदर खोल रखा था और झूठ बोल रहे हैं सब चैनल वाले। कब कोई बेटी ने मेरी खंबा नहीं पकड़ा, सारा झूठी स्टेटमेंट है। मेरी बेटी ने सिर्फ पांव रखा पानी में क्योंकि वो अंदर प्लेटफॉर्म में जाना चाहती थी, पटरी वहां पे खत्म हो रही थी, प्लेटफॉर्म की तरफ जाना चाहती थी। जैसे ही पांव नीचे रखा और पूरा पांव अंदर गया नहीं और उसको करंट लगा और वो वहीं गिर गई। और उसने ऐसे किया, खंबे को नहीं पकड़ने के लिए किया, जितनी उसको होश थी उसने कहा दूर हो जाओ, बच्चों, उसके बच्चे थे उसके पीछे। आप बच्चे देखेंगे तो आंखों से आंसू निकल जाएंगे। 6 साल की बच्ची, 9 साल का बच्चा, जिनको आज तक नहीं पता, वो सुबह उठ के पूछ रहे हैं मम्मी रात को आई नहीं। ऐसी खतरनाक हत्या जिसका मर्डर का किसको दोषी बताया है, मीडिया में बताए। सब सरकार मुझे ऑर्डर दे, किसको दोषी साबित किया है उन्होंने, कौन कौन दोषी है इसका? रेलवे की पुलिस, रेलवे डिपार्टमेंट, ना वहां डॉक्टर, ना वहां एम्बुलेंस, ना वहां फर्स्ट एड, ना वहां कोई बैरियर, ना वहां कोई बताने वाला। चश्मदीद गवाहों ने बताया होगा आपको, वहां कई चैनलों में दिखाया है। उन्होंने बाद में दूसरी मेरी बेटी जब उसको उठाने लगी, उन्होंने कहा यहाँ तो करंट आता है, आप क्यों आगे जा रहे हो? हमें तो पता है यहाँ करंट आता है, इसका मतलब ये पहले से अवेयर है सब लोग।
जी,
क्या इंतजार कर रहे थे ऐसी मौतों की? एक काफी नहीं थी जो पहले हुई थी इसी जगह पे?
नहीं, ये बहुत ही बड़ी बात आप कह रही हैं
कि एक मौत काफी नहीं है।
बहुत बड़ी बात आप कह रही हैं कि उधर इस तरह की घटनाएं पहले भी हुई हैं और वहां के लोगों को इसकी पूरी जानकारी थी।
जी हाँ, और इसकी कंप्लेंट दर्ज है, इसके अगेंस्ट कंप्लेंट दर्ज है कि यहाँ करंट है, बकायदा दर्ज है। अभी तक कोई कार्रवाई नहीं हुई। रात को रेलवे वाले कंपनसेशन देने आए थे 15,000 रुपए, मेरी बेटी की कीमत लगाने आए थे। उसकी जगह कोई मेरी बेटी, अपनी बेटी कोई दे दे मुझे। जिसको मैं अपनी बेटी बना लूं? कोई दे सकता है अपनी बेटी? पैसों से मेरी बेटी खरीदी जाती है तो कंपनसेशन दे दे, जितने किया है उतने पैसे दे दे। ये कोई इन्होंने तमाशा लगा रखा है। ट्रेनें बढ़ा रहे हैं, वंदे भारत को बढ़ा रहे हैं। क्या कभी दुनिया में फोटो में दिखाते हैं ये हाईटेक रेलवे स्टेशन है? मिट्टी हाईटेक रेलवे स्टेशन है ये? कभी बाहर के नजारे देखो, ये हाईटेक स्टेशन है। इंटरनेशनल न्यूज में ये सारी फोटो डाल दो अगर आप में हिम्मत है तो। ना एम्बुलेंस, हॉस्पिटल में जहां इमरजेंसी में बच्ची को लेके गई हूं, वहां पे आप देख सकते थे हॉस्पिटल की क्या हालत थी। वहां के बाथरूम, वहां का सिस्टम फेलियर था, बदबू मार रहे थे, बीमारी का घर था इमरजेंसी। मेरे को तो होश ही नहीं थी। मैं तो यही सोचती रही शाम तक कि मेरी बच्ची बेहोश पड़ी है, मेरी बच्ची बेहोश पड़ी है। मेरे को होश ही नहीं थी जब तक उसको कपड़ा मुंह पे डाल के ले नहीं गए। एक ऐसी दर्दनाक हत्या जिसकी माफी किसी को नहीं मिलेगी। मैं इस रेलवे मिनिस्टर साहब की खूब कायल थी, लेकिन अभी तक उनका एक कंडोलेंस का फोन भी नहीं आया हमारे पास। क्या मिनिस्टर साहब इंसान नहीं होते? क्या उनके बच्चे नहीं हैं?
जी, मैं समझ सकता हूँ आपके लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा दर्दनाक ये जो घटना हुई है। लेकिन आपसे एक सवाल ये ज़रूर पूछना चाहूँगा, जो केस लॉन्च किया गया है वो क्रिमिनल नेग्लिजेंस का केस जो है इसमें लॉन्च किया गया है। ये बेलेबल ऑफेंस है, पर क्या आप मानते हैं कि और सख्त कानून और सेक्शंस इस पूरे मामले में लागू किए जाने चाहिए?
ये बेलेबल ऑफेंस नहीं है। ये बेलेबल ऑफेंस नहीं है। किसी की मौत कर दो और उसको बेल दे दो, वो कल को किसी की और मौत करा देगा। उसके कौन से घर का बच्चा गया है? उसके घर का बच्चा जाए तो इस ऑफेंस को दूसरे चार्जेस लगते हैं। सबसे टॉप वाले को सस्पेंड करो, बीच वाला जो नहीं चेक करता उसको सस्पेंड करो, टर्मिनेट कर दो इनको। सस्पेंशन की क्या जरूरत है? सस्पेंड होके फिर वापस आते हैं, रिश्वतें खाते हैं, मेंटेनेंस के खर्चे खा जाते हैं। आज सरकार से पूछा जाए रेलवे मिनिस्ट्री कितना मेंटेनेंस पे देती है, इस पटरी की कितनी बार रिपेयरिंग हुई, क्या मुझे सरकार बता सकती है? इस पे कितना खर्च किया गया इस करंट को दूर करने के लिए? कभी एम्बुलेंस रखी उन्होंने? इतने बड़े लाखों लोग रोज ट्रेवल करते हैं, कितनी एम्बुलेंस रखी हुई है? एक भी एम्बुलेंस नहीं है। बाहर से गाड़ी हायर करके आधे घंटे बाद कोई लाया और उसमें बच्ची को डाला, उसके मुंह से धुएं निकल रहे थे, जल के राख अंदर से हो गई थी वो। डॉक्टर है उनके पास? कोई है जो भाग के आ जाए? कोई ऐसे बैठा हो दूसरे कमरे में, प्लेटफॉर्म के पास, इंक्वायरी के पास एक डॉक्टर बैठा हो, काबिल डॉक्टर जो ईमानदारी से काम करे? और कोई और हादसा भी हो सकता है, किसी और की जान भी बचानी पड़ सकती है। खाली मेरी साक्षी नहीं थी, ये देश की साक्षियां हैं। इन्होंने मजाक बना रखा है, मजाक बना रखा है इन्होंने। मेंटेनेंस पे कितना खर्चा हुआ, वो खर्चा कहाँ गया? मेंटेन नहीं किया तो ऊपर से नीचे तक के चढ़ावे ये सब खा जाते हैं, मेंटेन नहीं करते, कागजों में मेंटेनेंस दिखा देते हैं। कोई है पूछने वाला? क्या मोदी जी हैं यहाँ? क्या मिनिस्टर साहब हैं यहाँ? वो वैष्णव साहब है, मेरी आवाज सुन रहे हैं? क्या मोदी जी सुन रहे हैं? वो कहते हैं सारे देश के बच्चे मेरे हैं, सारी देश की बच्चियां मेरी हैं, तो मेरी बच्ची किसकी है? वैष्णव साहब की है या मोदी जी की है, शासित जी की है? किसकी है मेरी बच्ची वो, जब ये सारे देश के नागरिकों के मालिक है? कण कण में भ्रष्टाचार है, मोदी जी सुन ले कान खोल के, कांग्रेस इसका फायदा उठाए या ना उठाए, मैं कहती हूँ भ्रष्टाचार में कहीं कोई कमी नहीं है। मोदी जी ट्रेनें कम चलाओ, हवाई जहाज कम चलाओ, छोटे काम ज्यादा करो। आपके टॉयलेट साफ कराने के बावजूद हॉस्पिटल के टॉयलेट में कीड़े चल रहे थे, बैठना मुश्किल था, बीमारी का घर थे वो। इमरजेंसी के टॉयलेट जहां मेरी बच्ची पड़ी थी, उस डिपार्टमेंट के टॉयलेट टूटे हुए, न पानी, जैसे कम से कम नहीं तो 2 साल से इनकी सफाई नहीं हुई, न पानी न साबुन, और कीड़े चल रहे हैं। उसमें मैं टॉयलेट होके आई हूं, बूढ़ा आदमी। मेरी बच्ची स्वेर से लेके और वो 2-2-2:30 बजे तक रही है उस हॉस्पिटल में। कहीं व्यवस्था कहीं तो देश की कर दो। कुछ काम किसी ने नहीं किया। सब टीवी चैनल वाले अपनी कवरेज करते हैं, चले जाते हैं। कोई ऐसा चैनल है, कोई ऐसा बंदा है जिसने कुछ करके दिखाया हो? मेरे को लिस्ट भेज दे जिसने कुछ करके दिखाया है। क्या पूछेंगे? कोई खंबे को नहीं छुआ, कुछ नहीं किया, पटरी से उतरी लड़की और चली गई।
प्रवीण जी, मैं समझ सकता हूँ किस तरह की इमोशंस है इस वक्त, किस तरह का दुख और दर्द आप जो बयान कर रही हैं, और इसे सुनकर मेरा तो मैं आपसे सवाल भी नहीं पूछ पा रहा हूँ इस वक्त। लेकिन एक सवाल मैं ज़रूर आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि इसी शहर में 50 से ज़्यादा लोगों की मौत हुई है 2015 और 2022 के बीच में, केवल और केवल इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक की वजह से। ऐसे समय पे जब हाईकोर्ट ने भी इस पूरे मामले में देखा है और ये रेलवे स्टेशन के पास ये घटना हुई है, आप क्यों मानते हैं इस तरह की घटना क्यों होती रहती हैं?
कैसे होती हैं? अपने पेट का जाया मर जाए तब होती हैं इस तरह की घटनाएं बंद। ऐसे थोड़ी होती हैं कि गरीब आदमियों की, आम आदमियों के बच्चे मर जाएं। तो आम आदमी मर जाए उसकी घटनाएं तब थोड़ी बंद होंगी। बंद तब होंगी इनके पेट के जाए मर जाए। आप मिनिस्टर साहब को डायरेक्ट मेरा टेलीकास्ट भेज दीजिए। कुछ तो इंसानियत होती है, कुछ तो होती है। किसी की जान से खेल रहे हैं। कोई डॉक्टर नहीं, कोई पुलिस नहीं, कोई एम्बुलेंस नहीं, कोई अधिकारी नहीं रेलवे का जो वहां ये बता दे कि कहां जाना है, कहां मरना है। हमें, हम तुम्हारी कस्टडी में आए हैं। जैसे ही हम उसके कंपाउंड में जाते हैं, उनकी कस्टडी में होते हैं। कोई तो जवाब दे दे, कोई तो कुछ करे।
प्रवीण जी, हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं आपको बस इतना कह सकता हूँ और इतना आश्वासन दे सकता हूँ कि एक चैनल के रूप में हम जो भी कर सकते हैं साक्षी को इंसाफ दिलाने में, वी विल ट्राई आवर लेवल बेस्ट एंड वी विल कंटिन्यू टू रिपोर्ट ऑन दिस स्टोरी until whoever is responsible is brought to book. And that's not all. We will continue to follow up on this story. That's the only assurance I can give you here on national television. And I'd like to salute your bravery for, at this time of grief, coming and sharing the entire experience and emotion with us to better understand, so that there are no more Sakshis, so there are no more such incidents that take place. This is certainly something that we all as a society need to collectively introspect and act on. Well, I think the mother of Sakshi has pretty much said the last word. We have a panel of experts though, and we will certainly put those questions to them. Let me go first and foremost to the leader of the BJP, who's present with us, Mr. Vaibhav Agarwal. Sir, you heard the pain and the agony of a mother. What can you say to someone whose system has failed on so many levels? The apathy is there. It's just so evident. Is this what we citizens of India, when we walk into a railway station or a metro station or an airport, are to expect? That we can just get electrocuted and die? Vaibhav?
I don't know. I certainly see that very high expectations from one person in the system who probably isn't even responsible for the entire system. But I'm not running away. I am part of the system, and I think that's the whole point when everyone else asks us as the ruling party, as the ruling government, as to what are we doing, where are we spending, why are we upgrading the infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera. I think that is why we are upgrading the infrastructure. Every day there's construction work that is happening. Every day there are issues being solved. And
it's not okay, Vaibhav. This is a national capital. What infrastructure have we built? Where are our smart cities? Let's at least have cities where people don't die of getting electric shocks in the 21st century, sir. This is the year 2023.
Madhav,
and people step into a puddle of water and they die.
Madhav, it'll be
What's more
very
shocking
sad
is that there are people who knew about this and did nothing. You heard the mother. There were those who knew about this incident and did nothing.
It'll be very sad if we start discussing the politics of the matter, like you just questioned
There is no politics.
Me. I don't expect such questions coming from you in terms of this idea.
Vaibhav, this is not about politics, sir. Why don't you get it? Citizens demand accountability.
Why don't you get it that BJP is not the only one responsible for the management of the entire issue? But I am speaking about the government. I mean, why are you trying to corner me on this?
No, I think the railway ministry. I think the railway ministry has to be accountable. The railway ministry has to be held accountable.
1 second.
You may support the BJP, you may support the government, sir, but we need to collectively hold people to account. Vaibhav Agarwal, let me also ask you. Since you're on the subject,
I request you not to
since you're on the subject, let me also ask you a simple question. And in fact, let me bring in Vikram Singh now, because Vikram Singh can educate us. Vikram Singh, sections of death due to negligence have been added. Is this not a fit case for culpable homicide? Because for all you know, if tomorrow the contractor is arrested, he may just walk out on bail.
Madhavji, forget what I have to say. Please speak, understand what every word Praveen Ji, the mother of the deceased, had to say. The anguish and the agony has rattled all of us, including you. The least we can do is to ensure deterrent punishment to those who are responsible, the serial offenders. It has happened for the first time. We failed Sakshi multiple times. First, that there was a wire that was naked. Number two, Sakshi stepped on it. There was no exercise to warn, to cordon off the area, no arrangement to take her to the hospital and give her first aid, and also the brazen manner in which it was handled. To your specific question, I would say it should be the most stringent provisions of law and serial offenders law, so that there is no bail. And I would say that not only the accidental cause, but also culpable homicide amounting to murder, and other sections of the Railway Act also to ensure that the contractors, the negligent, those who are serial offenders are sent home, sent behind bars. For too long have we tolerated, but we should realize Sakshi died before her time. This was an avoidable tragedy.
Absolutely, completely avoidable tragedy. I'm going to come across to other panelists, but we have some viewers joining us. And we're asking you as viewers, come on, express yourself. Are you going to take an incident like this, lying low? And as citizens, do we not need to raise our voice that this is just not acceptable in 2023 India? It is just not acceptable. Bindu is our first viewer joining us from Hyderabad. Yes, Bindu. Bindu, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. I can hear you, Madhav. First of all, my condolences to Sakshi and the family. My question to all the panelists here is that in the battle of politics, we are losing, innocent lives every day. Who is accountable at the end of it? Is it the railways? Is it the central government, the state government? We see the political tug war and the political blame game. But who's accountable for this? How do we, today it's Sakshi, tomorrow it's someone else, and we keep these discussions keep going on. But where do we see that the system getting changed? Where do we see that the process getting defined?
Absolutely, and that's why we're going to ask the questions of the railways, who are primarily responsible for it. We'll also ask the police if they do not do justice in terms of the investigation. All of those responsible from the top to the bottom will have to account for it. Thanks so much for joining us. Let me go across now to Murli from Bengaluru. Yes, Murli.
Yeah, this is Murli from Bangalore. This is the irony of our country, You said basically I'm from Bangalore and I see wires scattered across my apartment. We don't know what is going to happen. If rain comes, we don't know what is going to happen. And the basic thing is when whatever the corporation take up the work, they don't complete the work. They dug up and they just go. And then the next day something happens. Somebody falls inside the hole, or then they try to escape.
In this case, 15,000 rupees, sir. Can you imagine that they actually had the gall to walk up to someone's house and offer them 15,000 rupees? It's unthinkable. And a mother is asking, is that the price of my daughter's life? 15,000 rupees. Just think about it. Just think about it. You heard the mother yourself on air just a few moments ago say it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable brazenness. Manbir is our next viewer joining us from Guwahati. Yes, Manbir.
Yeah, I'm Madhav.
Hi, please go ahead.
Yeah, first and foremost, my condolences to the bereaved family. May God rest her soul in peace. Madhav, एक सिंपल सी सवाल है. Almost every time, हर बार यही होता है. कब से देखते आया हूँ, maybe 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, whether it is BBMC हो, BMC हो, गुवाहाटी हो, कहीं पे भी ये हो रहा है. And every time there is some मतलब covering it up, इसको दोष दे, उसको दोष दे. And I would like to request वहाँ पे वैभव बैठे हुए हैं बीजेपी के, ठीक है, with very high hopes, and we are a hardcore supporter for मोदी जी. तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि जो टॉप ब्रासेस है वो करना चाह रहे हैं कुछ, बट नीचे के लोग डिलीवर नहीं कर पा रहे. अगर नहीं कर पा रहे, अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं ले पा रहे, then heads has to roll harsh.
Absolutely. Cases have to be filed. Whoever is accountable. It is not about niche, upar. Everyone is accountable, sir. This is a collective system. There are ministers who have resigned on the basis of railway accidents that have happened in this country. Let's not forget that. That's the yardstick of probity in public life that has been applied. Over here, not one, not two, but multiple levels, you heard the horrors that this family has had to go through. Thank you for joining us, Manbir. We go across now to Jitendra Kumar from Lucknow. Yes, Jitendra.
Yeah. सबसे पहले कैन आई स्पीक इन हिंदी आल्सो?
जी बोलिए.
हाँ, पहले तो ये बहुत ही अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट है, और उसमें माता जी
जी please, please take a moment to compose yourself. Yeah, you can take time, sir, please. I understand. This is an extremely moving interview that you would have also seen. And just like me and others on this panel, you would also be moved. I can understand the emotion.
उनकी जो पेन है वो बहुत ही दयनीय स्थिति में है उनकी माता जी, और बहुत ही ऐसा इंसिडेंट हुआ जो होना नहीं चाहिए. लेकिन साथ में मैं ये देखता हूँ आम पब्लिक लाइफ में ऐसे इंसिडेंट बहुत होते हैं इंडिया में.
Bilkul, sir, because we don't care as a society. Governments are not held accountable. Citizens are just used to getting whatever infrastructure, a little bit they can get, that we have become used to this system. That's the unfortunate reality of our society today. Thank you so much for joining us, Jitendra. Shankar Ayyar is our next viewer joining us from Bengaluru. Yes, Shankar. All right, I think we don't have Shankar with us. Neeraj Paswan is our next viewer joining us from New Delhi. Yes, Neeraj.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm seeing your program and I just happened to see the response from the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Vaibhav Agarwal. I've been following Mr. Agarwal for some time. I'm a hardcore supporter of Mr. Modi, but this arrogance is absolutely deplorable. This is not answered. How can somebody just say something and just get away from giving away 15,000 rupees for a person who's lost her life in the national capital? We have to be answerable to what is happening.
Absolutely.
Irrespective of all the construction that is happening, all the development that is happening, this can't happen within the development, right? Lives can't be lost within a development. I'm sorry to say that.
Certainly. And
here, watching the TV, I'm absolutely shocked.
I'm going to let Vaibhav respond to you on that. Vaibhav, it's not just me, sir. And there is no politics in this. Here is a person who says he's a Modi supporter. Who's accusing you of being arrogant in your response?
1 second. There is no arrogance. There is no arrogance about my response. What he's pointing out is about 15,000 rupees and you are peddling it. You are helping it realize because you also don't.
What do you mean by peddling it? You heard the mother say. Are you saying the mother is lying to us? Are you saying the mother is lying today?
That you have? Please don't speak without facts. Let the investigation happen. I don't have arrogance. I have nothing to say. There is no politics.
You are accusing me of peddling something when you just heard the distraught mother saying this. Are you saying the mother is lying on national television, Vaibhav Agarwal?
I am not going to comment on what auntie is saying. I am saying that you should responsibly say that an unconfirmed viewpoint of the mother of the deceased says.
Do you know for sure that 15,000 rupees were not offered, Vaibhav Agarwal?
But
if you can say so conclusively, please say so.
Are you being responsible?
Please say so. I am quoting the mother. If you know otherwise, please tell us. Please tell us. I will carry your version also. But it's shocking to hear this from the mother.
It is shocking. It is shocking to me also.
Yes. So please appear to be shocked, sir.
How can we not give it out there?
If the viewers are saying that you appear arrogant, then you should at least try to understand the pain. It is inappropriate, sir, to call this politicizing. I'm sorry, Vaibhav Agarwal. It's inappropriate. There is no politics. It is about accountability. Why can't you understand, Vaibhav Agarwal? Are people not to be held accountable? There can be Vande Bharat trains that can be inaugurated, 200 stations that can be inaugurated, but surely we need to ensure that the basics are in place. And I want to bring in Dilip Cherian on this. Dilip Cherian, you know, the shocking part is this. The shocking part is on so many levels, whether we're talking about the fact that the death happened, the horrible conditions in terms of relief, the fact that 25 minutes she lay there in that water, in that puddle. There was smoke coming out of her mouth is what her mother has said. And what are we looking at? We are looking at an attempted cover-up allegedly by the mother. This is of course the mother's version. But I hope nobody in their right mind thinks that the mother was being economical with the truth.
Mother, tragedy
now let Dilip come in.
Epic proportions.
Please let Dilip come in now.
And our collective heads in shame. There are three things that the mother has spoken about. The three C's as I call it. Corruption, she spoke about cleanliness, and she spoke about callousness. Corruption, cleanliness, and callousness. And I think as a country, we need to recognize that these are very, very tragic things in 2023 at a time when we are trying to stake a claim to be a modern, advanced, democratic nation. She also pointed out, and everybody who has reported on this, all channels, all newspapers have also reported on 4 organizations that have to be held accountable. The police, the ambulance service, the hospital service, and most of all, the railway service. So if all these 4 organizations have failed a citizen, and if we are exhibiting 3 kinds of features of behavior, which is callousness, cleanliness, and corruption, then we need to examine what are we talking about. It doesn't matter whether it is the 300 who died in the train accident which happened less than 6 weeks ago. It doesn't happen that any of these things have not to be traced back to responsibility, Madhav, at the very top. That is the nature of democracy. You elect at various stages and the responsibility moves up. Deaths need to be accounted for. Human life matters, and we cannot pay 15,000 rupees as compensation. That is the 4th tragic C that we need to discuss. So I think that we are in a very sad situation, and Madhav, I'm confident that if you persist with this campaign, there will be justice at all these levels and in all these 4 organizations.
All right. Let's quickly bring in some other callers. We have several of our viewers joining us. Malti is with us now from Hyderabad. Yes, Malti.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, see, I am very much saddened, and it's a very bad tragedy, and person responsible for this should be prosecuted. And another thing, let's not politicize. Whenever there is a rain, irrespective of which government is there, such thing happens, like an open drain, people drowning in open drain. And because if you politicize the matter, what happens? Things get diluted because of action and reaction. But ultimately, everyone forgets after 1 or 2 days, and same thing gets repeated. And people responsible should be prosecuted.
Absolutely. People responsible have to be brought to justice. I want to quickly bring in Rakesh from Jammu as well. Yes, Rakesh.
Yeah, good evening, Madhav. I'm Rakesh, calling from Jammu. I was listening to Mr. Dilip. The moment you pressed the finger on his vein, he was furious, which doesn't prove to be satisfactory on the part of the government or the BJP. Actually, what happens is that these bureaucrats and ministers, I'm not against BJP, but the fact remains that these people do not understand the human value. It's because of that this poor lady has been forced to the jaws of the death.
Right.
And they should be responsible. They
Certainly.
need to take the responsibility.
Certainly. Whoever is responsible has to be brought to justice. This is certainly not an acceptable situation. And in fact, I want to bring in Mr. Siddiqui, who's a former chief spokesperson of the Ministry of Railways. Mr. Siddiqui, people are outraged. You must be hearing the responses. लोग पूछ रहे हैं ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है और अकाउंटेबिलिटी मल्टीपल लेवल्स पे फिक्स होनी चाहिए यहाँ पे, which is just not being done.
Yes, you are right. For this, the Railways Act 1989 needs to be amended to include such cases. This accident is freak of an accident, which is rarest of the rare in the premises of railways. Outer circulating area, parking area. See, however, the railway staff, there is a staff crunch, largest number of vacancies in the government of India, in the railways, Indian railways, and mostly so in the frontline staff, the railway equipment, the electrical equipment, its maintenance, its distribution and overall management. Within this frame, the staff is highly demotivated, highly, stressed, and therefore they are unable to give their best. Otherwise, railways has been most efficient, most self-reliant entity in the government, except in the major accidents where the traffic restoration, the relief and rescue measures are on, their entire official machinery, both of center and states come into force.
Well,
another problem is
there may
that
be
lack of
legacy
accountability
issues.
on the part of government
Mr.
officials.
Siddiqui, there may be legacy issues, sir,
Yeah.
but whoever is there in power right now has
Yes.
to account for it. If there are vacancies,
No, there is no
fill them up.
legacy issue. No, there
No,
is
you're saying there are vacancies.
Legacy issue is there. Let me say, I am talking about very important point that in all the criminal laws, there is a safety clause that any action taken by government officials or any official, judicial included, police included, you see, in good faith, shall not be questioned by public, you see, in any court of law. So court is barred. So therefore, they run berserk, they take biased decisions, and the people of India, despite being democracy,
well, certainly we need to look at the laws as well.
Against them. So therefore, they tend to be arrogant, corrupt, and unaccountable to the people.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a very, very important point that you've made over there. I'm going to come to Abha Singh as well as Mr. Prateek Som in just a minute, because we have several calls. A number of viewers who are calling us. We're completely inundated because clearly this is a story that connects with number of our viewers. David is now joining us from Cochin. Yes, David.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm aggrieved about seeing this very pathetic situation. That's also in the capital in 1923, as you said. First, I share their grievance because I am also a grandfather. I got only one granddaughter. That's all. In the capital city, doesn't have a CCTV footage to view the thing.
Well, certainly if there was, it's a very horrific sight, I'm sure. I don't think we would be even be able to broadcast it, because certainly there are regulations that we also follow, sir. It's a very, very shocking thing. Leave alone the footage. The fact is that why should it be happening in the national capital? That itself is unbelievable. Let's quickly take this across to our next viewer, Jitendra Gupta from Hyderabad. Yes, Jitendra.
Yes. So what I would like to say is that the law is not equal. in India. If this would have been a private enterprise, by now the owner of the private enterprise would have been behind bars and a huge amount of negative publicity would have gone against this entity. So the same yardstick should apply to all the government institutions and the law should be applied equally. It is high time the law
Certainly,
is amended.
sir. Certainly, we will be following up on the story, and this is not something that we're going to give up easily. This is not an issue on which there should anyway be politics, is what we have said. But as a citizens issue, certainly the story is one which is something that has created a huge amount of concern and alacrity amongst various citizens of the national capital. In fact, let me take this across to our next viewer, Usha Rao from Bengaluru. Yes, Usha Rao.
Yeah, good evening. You know, apathy, negligence, and an indifferent attitude that makes us say, "Sab chalta hai," is a part of our DNA, you know. There have been so many such instances, and sadly, Sakshi's case is not going to be the last. You know, whether it is a loosely dangling wire or fire safety measures being flouted, or an open manhole, or a borewell that is open, we have so many such cases of sheer negligence. You know, at the bottom of it all is a lack of accountability.
Absolutely.
But true human life has no value in our country.
Absolutely. And in fact, I want to take this question across to Abha Singh. Abha Singh, you know, it's our viewers expressing this. In fact, one of our panelists, Mr. Siddiqui, also elaborated on it. Our officials feel that they are bulletproof, that they're insulated, that no case will be filed against them, that they'll get away with at most some suspension for a few months and then come back to their job. That's why there's no accountability in our system, end of the day, Abha Singh.
Absolutely. If you remember the doctor who drowned in a manhole, no action was taken. You see the Balasore train accident in Orissa where 300 people have died. The Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has not even come and apologized. He's forget stepping down also. And today also the spokesperson is saying, oh, he's not responsible, and yet you are talking about him. When he's there flagging all the trains, when you want to take all the accolades because you're the minister, you are heading an organization. So when such deaths happen, you have to take accountability also. You have to apologize. You cannot just you cannot be seen only cutting ribbons. There is something called accountability. This has happened inside the compound of the Delhi railway station. Open wires, live wires, children seeing their mother die like this, and you know heads have rolled. It is always the system that you order an inquiry, you order an investigation, nothing happens out of it. You come back and tell us who has lost his job. Till the time there is accountability, these railway officers, they get the best of the jobs, best of the facilities, their jobs are protected. The very manner in which Delhi's police has put such negligent charges. In fact, 287 is 6 months imprisonment, which is bailable. Then again, you have not even put culpable homicide amounting to murder. You have put death by negligence. When wires are open, my dear friend, it will lead to death. Also, when your guidelines say that there has to be safety audit, where are the safety audits before monsoons? It is a standard practice. Trees are cut, live wires are closed when monsoon takes place. Is it not your accountability? You want promotion as GMs, you want DRMs, you want the biggest of the houses in Lucians of Delhi, but you are not accountable. You cannot say, of course, your railway minister has to come out and say sorry. So he has hit himself in Balasore also.
Okay.
Saying that the investigation is underway. Abha Singh is absolutely doing whataboutery and putting wrong.
What is the whataboutery? Weak sections have been filed.
Investigation is
She's a lawyer, sir.
Without any result coming.
You're teaching her about the law. She's a lawyer.
Train tragedy. How many people have?
We have a former DGP, a former IPS officer saying that weak sections of law have been applied.
Sir, it's an eyewash. You transfer people. How many? If you make them accountable, if you make them accountable and dismiss them from your job.
Sir, let the FIR at least include the sections. Let the stringent sections first be applied. Why have they not been applied? No, Vaibhav Agarwal, you can't get away by calling this whataboutery. We are asking very factual questions. Do you have facts to counter them? You are the one declaring. You cannot declare judgment, sir. I'm sorry. This is a case where a citizen has lost her life. There's no amount. You cannot carpet over this incident. You cannot carpet over this incident, Vaibhav Agarwal. It is just not acceptable. I'm sorry.
No, Madhav, this is not right.
Let me bring in Prateek Som. One second, sir. What is not right is that a young mother has lost her life. That is what is not right. Don't try to defend the indefensible here, please. This is Vaibhav Agarwal. I've been very patient. You are making all sorts of allegations against very reputable panelists. This is not acceptable. Please stick to facts if you have any. Let's not go on the rhetoric in this one. Let's stick to the facts. The facts are shocking. They speak for themselves. I'm going to go across to Prateek Som now before we go across to the rest of our viewers. Prateek Som, accountability multiple levels pe fail hui hai yahan pe. It's not just the railway ministry. The Delhi police, which we are raising questions, why have only weak sections been filed? The officials who go and try and offer compensation of 15,000 rupees. It's mind-boggling what has happened.
Madhav, today before beginning my submission with a very heavy heart, first I offer my deep condolences. Our party JJP stands with the Ahuja family in this hour of grief. Today I appear as a part of NDA, but after seeing the face of two young children of late Sakshi Ahuja, I feel terrible and I am at a loss for words that someone's negligence, in fact, criminal negligence, can destroy many lives. The life in national capital has become so cheap. Now, Madhav, we may debate on various points. I have also heard Mr. Agarwal, I have heard Mr. Cherian on this. Now, coming on to this case, first of all, it is a clear case that it is a case of accident due to criminal negligence, immediate suspension on the entire hierarchy, plus the contractor should be done so that example should be set for the future. But the macro question remains that in the national capital, whether it is a railway station, airport, COVID failure, pollution, traffic, mess due to rains, waterlogging, accidents, lawlessness, the genesis, Madhav, I'm giving a very pertinent point. The genesis is concentration of 3.25 crore persons on 1500 square kilometer land, that is Delhi. Now, foolish policies of free bijli pani to gather votes adds to the problem. We are staring at a situation when freebies are resulting in overcrowding, resulting in loss of governance, and consequently people losing their lives. It is a governance and a policy failure. Madhav, the agenda should be, I being from a political party, simply stating that the agenda should be, if you need votes, give.
Praveen Ji, my simple question to you.
Last point.
No, I'm on your point, on the point of freebies. Who's offering freebies at the railway station?
No, you have not got my point.
I'm saying there can be a culture of freebies. You may take on the AAP government. I have no problem. That may be a legitimate concern, sir. Is this about freebies or is this about administration?
Madhav, you have not got my point. I am saying the macro question which remains, that the genesis of all the problems, it doesn't mean that the accident at the railway station. Every place has its capacity. If you will bring such policies, the governance failure is bound to happen. I am only saying that on a 1500 square kilometer land,
I'm going to very respectfully disagree with you, Mr. Som, because I think at a time like this is not what citizens would want to hear. Citizens want to know how the accountability is being fixed. Citizens want to know who is the official that will be punished for this, because this kind of a criminal act is certainly not acceptable. Will sections of culpable homicide be added? Will the Delhi police do that? We'll be tracking that and all other aspects of the story. For now, we'll have to leave it there. I'd like to thank our panelists, Vaibhav Agarwal, Prateek Som, M.Y. Siddiqui, Dilip Cherian, Abha Singh and Vikram Singh for joining us. We certainly hope that there is justice for Sakshi at the earliest.